the fact that he was actually just, he saw the play around him and he saw that he could make that run all the way through the defence, and he could see that Aurier could possibly give him the ball. So he'd already got that picture in his mind what was going to happen. And it was a beautiful thing to see. That was vintage Bale.
Yeah, I think that comment that you make about Bale having a weight lifted, I think it's I think you're right. I think it's about the freedom. So Mason is kind of wanting the team to play with that, with that offensively, and wanting to look forward. Whereas Mourinho, as we've I think you've touched on many times, is risk averse. So his first inclination will be for the players in the team to want to do the defensive stuff first, make sure that they get back into position, do the recovery stuff first, and maintain shape. Whereas I think when we were defending against Sheffield United, it might be, for example, that Harry Kane had dropped in and deep, and Bale stayed high and wide, and therefore it allowed. And I think Kane did it a couple of times. He attempted it once; it didn't come off. I know he certainly managed to get one into to Bale, where he just flicked it, into that channel, so around the corner into that channel, to give him the opportunity to attack the defender. So you're right. And then the outcome of that is that Bale plays with freedom and doesn't just sit up the pitch, because when the whole team is working, no one's saying that we want Bale just to stay up on the halfway line and don't do fuck all. We want him to be involved, and he tracked back and made a sliding tackle to win a ball. He run all the way back to recover and out sprint the Sheffield United player to get to the ball in his area and then pop it around the corner into Aurier, I think. So, he was working both ways and felt the freedom and enjoyment in the game to do that. So I think that was good to see. So that was good. So the first half, 1-0.
Yep.
Sheffield United made a double change at half time, and it was quite a relief actually, because it meant that we weren't going to be the first team for Brian Brewster to score a goal against, because he was replaced at half time.
Have we forgotten something? Was it the stamp on Lo Celso?
Was that in the first half?
Was that in the first? Or was that the second half?
Let's talk. Okay, well, let's talk. You brought it up. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
What were your thoughts on that?
When it first happened, I didn't see it in real time, but obviously when I saw the first replay, I thought, fucking hell, he's stamped on his head. So, and even the commentator was saying, yeah, that looks a bit naughty, doesn't it? And it was like, well, yeah. I mean, he was looking down. It wasn't as if he stumbled over Lo Celso. We've all been there. If you get in a tangle like that, you can see someone, you move your feet quickly. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
100%. And so he definitely went for the stamp. And of course, after the game, Mason was bloody furious about that, and quite rightly so. I mean, he's himself has been through such a bad head injury.
Yes. That's probably,
yeah. So that must have been.
You're right. I mean,
pretty galling.
When I saw the incident the first time, because I think we've touched on, I think probably in the last podcast actually, we touched on the histrionics of Reguilon and Lo Celso going down so easily and rolling about, and the way he was. The
way they hit the floor.
But he was kicking his legs around a lot, just thumping his legs, and I thought,
God, it looks a bit weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's trying to pull a fast one here. And then when you saw you see the replay and you see the reaction. So Fleck's initial reaction is to look down at him as if to say, like what's that all about? And then you see the replay and you think, fucking hell, that is pretty nasty what you've done there, because you've not only did he could have just settled for stamping on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that obviously wasn't sufficient, and he's managed to slide his foot down on his head, and but then afterwards, as the whole thing is sort of they're all dispersed, and then you look at him and he's actually, Fleck's actually smirking
Yeah.
as well. So
yeah, he didn't give a shit. He didn't care
give a
at
shit.
all. No.
You know, and it's unfortunate if it was a deliberate act, which it looked like. You know, you can't look at that any other way and not think it wasn't. You know, and he's got away with one. And I don't understand how the VAR can look at that from the various angles that we have seen it.
Yeah.
And then not go to the referee. Do you know what? Just go and have a look at that, because for me, I think that's a decision you need to make.
Yeah.
And then let the referee make, again, if you don't want to make the decision for VAR, then don't make it, but send the referee.
Yeah, let the ref. Yeah, it's really easy for him to just go over and make a decision on that. Yeah. I mean, even if the ref goes to the screen and makes the wrong decision, you can still say, okay, that's ridiculous, but at least he's done it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't do that just seems so odd. And, you know, I think it was the previous week. Was it Balbuena for...
and it's the same. It was the same VAR as well.
Same VAR guy. And so what the hell's going on? Christ.
Yeah.
And of course, his red card was rescinded.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. See, the previous week, he's obviously called it as a red card or whatever, and I wonder if he then said, "Well, I'm not doing that this week because last week my decision got overturned." I just, you know, you have to wonder, don't you? That, and then this week's one should be reviewed, and he should be.
But that's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, if that is the case, that they are just not fit for purpose, if they're basing a decision on, you know, this week on one that they got wrong last week, they shouldn't be in the job, because they should be making the decision on each individual case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just speculating. I've no definite answers on that, but it just seems
but yeah,
you know, it just seems logical that given that, you know, he had his previous decision overturned. This time he thought, well, I'm not making that decision. So
yeah, very odd, very odd decision.
Anyway, so moving on from that. So into the second half, we had the double substitution.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Sonny's goal came before Bale's. Sonny's offside goal.
Yes, that was the first thing that happened. Yeah.
So I think someone commented. I don't know if it was you commented, but someone commented, without VAR, would that goal have been a goal? Because it was so tight. And I actually thought, I haven't got all the tools and everything, but I thought that they would actually took their VAR decision from the wrong defender. I thought it was, you know, the defender closest to the touchline looked a little bit deeper.
It did, actually. His foot looked like it was on the line.
Yeah. Than the one that they were using.
But to be quite honest, mate, if he's missed a stamp on the head, I mean, anything can fucking happen, can't it? Let's face it.
Yeah. I mean, that VAR decision, that for the offside goal, is not the worst decision that was made that day. So I guess I'm happy to move on and let them let them have that one. So anyway, so you know, we did score not long after that. With Sonny breaking away. I think that was Sonny. Was that the one that Sonny broke away and he set Bale up for? And he's just like, he beat a challenge, played him through.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Sheffield were a bit kind of weak in their tackle, weren't they? And Sonny just got the ball free.
Yeah, you say that. I mean, the guy that tried to, the guy that was trying to make the recovery. I mean, he's left the floor. You know, he's actually lunged at Son. You know, so Sonny was quite lucky just to nick the ball away from him, but he moved it really quickly.
Yeah, they weren't very accurate in their tackle. Let's put it that way. But yeah, that was a lovely ball. It was very reminiscent, actually, of Kane's ball to Sonny against Liverpool at Wembley. Do you remember when he was bursting through?
Yes.
And in fact, when I saw someone bursting through in the middle, I thought, "Who's that? Is that Sonny?" And I thought, "Oh no, that's Sonny there." I couldn't believe it was Bale. Because I didn't think he could run anymore. But
he did, and he left. I mean, Lo Celso, if you watch Lo Celso, because Lo Celso was the supporting player. Yeah. Now, if you're, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he went off injured. No, see, he went off injured afterwards, but you kind of watch him, and he's not busting his ass to get up there, like alongside. So Bale looks like to see like, where's my support? Am I gonna lay it on for someone for an easy tap in, or
Yeah.
like, and the Celso's kind of jogging like, Bale's got this, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And the finish, I mean, the finish was emphatic.
Oh,
You know,
God, that was beautiful. Yeah. That was a
Sonny's goal for
typical
the offside
Bale
one was
finish.
emphatic as well, but both of them,
Yeah.
that finish was emphatic, and you saw like yeah, fucking brilliant, and he looks at that point, he really looked like he was back on the top of his game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that was just vintage Bale again, wasn't it? It was just lovely to see. And you could see there were elements in the game where he does that thing where he comes in off on the right, tries to get into the middle of the pitch to take a long shot, which he did in his last season really effectively.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't had one of those come off yet, but I think one will come off pretty soon. And I think we'll all go bloody crazy when that happens.
But I mean, even without that, he scored some. I think he scored some spectacular goals this season so far.
He has, yeah.
Certainly the ones from sort of the right hand side of the penalty box where he kind of checks back, and then you kind of know, even if you're the keeper, you must know at that point it's kind of curtains. He's not going to miss.
Yes, that's right. He is pretty lethal as a finisher. And I think 2 seasons ago, he played 42 games for Real Madrid and scored 14 goals. This season, he's played 30 games, and I don't think that's full games either, and he's scored 14 goals. So he's at a kind of 50% hit rate per game.
Yeah,
and amazing.
And I mean, he's at the moment he's got the best goals to minutes ratio as well in the league. So
he has,
it's interesting because there's been a few Twitter spats around Gareth Bale around whether he should be, whether Mourinho should have played him. There's obviously a reason why Mourinho wasn't playing him. He's not good enough. He's past it. Waste of money, vanity signing, all of that stuff. But yet still, he's showing actually that given a chance, given a run of games, that he would have performed for us over a longer period of time. So
I know, a bit sad.
So I mean, he got his hat trick. Pleasingly, I think, because I thought overall, and I kind of agreed with the commentators, and thought in the first half, Delhi, I thought was all over the place. He was bright, involved in it a lot. But
he had a free role, didn't he?
Faded.
Yeah.
He kind of faded in the second half, but he had a hand in that goal. He popped the ball into nice little ball into Aurier, who cut inside, and then the easiest of assists, just roll the ball square. Then
that was lovely. Yeah.
And then Bale, Bale finishes like he can, so clinical again.
Yeah.
If you're, I was wondering at that point, when he got his hat trick, what Harry Kane was thinking.
Yeah, I thought the same. Yeah. Because, I bet he thought, you bastard, I'm the one that gets hat tricks.
Well, exactly. He's kind of suddenly he's kind of suddenly come in and is scoring and finding himself in positions that potentially Kane would find himself in, and capitalising those. And I think even for the third goal, he could have played Kane in.
Yeah, he could.
Kane was in a great.
He wasn't going to though, was he?
And I guess if roles were reversed, there's no way Kane would have played like Bale in, and I don't think Bale would have expected him to either. So,
and the thing is, Sheffield just opened up, didn't they? So for him to not shoot would be ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. But again, a part of that will be, as much as we're taking the mickey, a part of that will be the threat that people like Kane and Son, who are up there, bring as well. So their movement will
open it up.
Will be a problem for Sheffield United's defence, because if they leave them just to go and close down Bale, then there's an easy path into an unmarked clinical finisher. So,
exactly. Yeah.
No, it's fantastic.
So that's great to see, isn't it? It's very exciting. It's a shame we've only got like 3 games left. So
but hopefully this is setting us up nicely for next season. But
I hope so.
We'll see. But so we finished it off with a lovely finish from Sonny.
A bit trademark that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really.
Yeah.
So the assist was from Berg